welcome to the Galactic Mind Weather Report. So today I'm coming to you on the white magnetic dog. So it's the day that opens up the 13 days of the white dog wavespell. Now this 13 days is all about really exploring and evolving our capacity to dance in the stream of love. It's really about exploring what does love mean? You know, we use the word so easily out there in the world, so loosely. You know, it's about love, everything is about love, love is everything, and love is the answer to everything. But what is love? What does it look like in your life? How does it look to express love? And the other words that come with this are heart, you know, the heart space, obviously such a symbol for love, and loyalty. Now, loyalty is a really interesting word because with the white dog, you know, it's known as the compassionate one. Very feminine, beautiful energy. But it's a deeply misunderstood energy sometimes. You know, you look at how it manifests out there in the world. And so as we go through this 13 days of the white dog, we're going to be looking at where are we placing our loyalty? Where are we, you know, funneling and channeling our love? So as you go through this process, you will be challenged with the shadow side of this. And when you look at the shadow side of the white dog energy and loyalty, you know, I always get the image of, you know, the way an actual dog, you know, is known as, you know, man's best friend. And it's known as man's best friend for its incredible loyalty to its master, to its family that it lives with. And that's very symbolic of this white dog energy. Now, the shadow side to the loyalty is that often, even when that dog is loyal to an abusive master, you know, that hits it or whatever, as long as it feeds the dog, it still keeps on coming. It creates this destructive, codependent relationship where the dog just wants to love, just wants to be with the master, but the master still punishes the dog, you know, takes out, you know, the master isn't angry at the dog as such, but uses the dog to take out its fear, its aggression, its etc. And this often happens in relationships. You know, we get these abusive, codependent relationships, not just physically abusive, but also emotionally abusive, etc. And it's easy to say, oh, it's that person is an abusive person. But it's always interesting when you look at these dynamics, there's usually this overextension of loyalty in a way that is not always healthy. It's not always coming from the right place. And it's coming from a place that needs some kind of security or some kind of strength, you know, to help back up this very beautiful, soft, loving energy. And when they both come from their shadow places, they can be very abusive and it uses a lot of our energy. So as you go through these 13 days, you know, it's a really good idea to sit with this concept of the white dog and loyalty and really question, you know, where are you loyal in your life? You know, where are you loyal? Where are you committing to? What cycles are you committing to? And where are you giving your energy? And where are you giving your love? And so when we look at that commitment, you know, because that comes a lot with this concept of the white dog energy, you know, the over loyalty is commitment to the wrong things. And I had a big epiphany around commitment a long time ago, a few years ago, through the Gene Keys work, the 29th Gene Key of commitment. And I really dived into this because I did have an issue around the word commitment, the way it was used in the world, because I didn't like the way that people were telling me, oh, you have a problem with committing to another person. Because I felt, why should I be committing to the person? And something in that why is someone else's happiness going to rule my life, was something I rebelled against. But then when I really danced with this 29th Gene Key and you know, this white dog energy and really dropped into it, you know, I started realizing that the commitment, this is the challenge, the commitment is not meant to be from me to you, or me to a partner, or from me to my family. The commitment is to the cycle that is created between us. You know, because when you add, for example, you add galactic signatures, I'm a blue self-existing storm, you can add it to another signature, you get a mathematical equation that gives you the relationship signature. And that is like an entity that exists between you and another person, you and the day, you and a project. You create an energy with whatever you are working with, wherever you are loyal. And so commitment, in my eyes, because that's all this is in my interpretations, commitment is to the cycle that we create together, but not to each other. Because then that cycle is alive, and as long as it is alive, We both need to be loyal to feeding that our energy and working with it and creating. But when that cycle closes, and it's a very subtle thing we need to learn to become aware of, is cycles, how they open and how they close. And sometimes a cycle closes in a relationship or in a work relationship, and that cycle is closed. So that cycle between us has now started shutting down. But if we are so caught in being loyal to each other, we miss that. We don't hear the closing sounds, the final credits of our relationship for this period or this one cycle. And another one may open straight after, but we need to be acknowledging the closing of these cycles so that we can release our commitment, release our loyalty, so that we have that love, compassion, and energy to put into another project, another relationship, another place, or with the same person in another cycle. And because we become so indoctrinated and so caught in this idea that we need to commit to each other and struggle, and that becomes a struggle because now we feel oppressed, we feel like, how do we make this relationship work when, well, you don't even know who you are, I don't even know who I am. How can we be responsible for making each other happy? And if this cycle shuts down between us, and yet we keep going, it's like flogging a dead horse. It's a horrible saying, really. But it's like it becomes that abusive relationship, because now we're trying to keep something going that actually doesn't want to be going. And it's a tough thing to do. You know, it's the death of a relationship. And in our culture, death is deeply feared. In other cultures, death is deeply revered. Because when something dies, it frees energy to give birth to something else. And so to truly be loyal, to truly be committed, is to allow yourself to be in the flow of that relationship, the energy between you both, to sail and surf that energy you are creating together, this ocean of love and devotion and loyalty, you know, partners, friends, family, work, whatever it is. And the other part I want to talk about today with this is that we often then associate love with smiling, being kind, being this namaste type energy. But real love is real. It's gritty. If you truly love someone and you see them doing something that is hurting themselves and they ask you for your advice, real love is to be the mirror for them, is to reflect what they need to see. You know, it's like often, you know, there's this stereotypical thing you'll see in movies and in real life, where you have a husband and wife in a movie, and the wife will say, "Oh, how do I look, darling?" You know, he's got all dressed up, about to go out on a date or, you know, to the movies or a big party. And she spent all this time, you know, getting dressed and trying to, you know, really feel, you know, create a beautiful piece of art she wants to take out to the world. And so she asked the husband, "How do I look?" And, you know, there's that stereotypical answer, "Oh, you look lovely, dear." Even though there's something very out of place, out of sync that husband can see and acknowledge, that he's being invited to offer that piece of wisdom or reflection. But he also knows that it's not nice to hear that. And he doesn't want to hurt his wife. He doesn't want to create a stir. He doesn't want to create those reactions. So instead says, "You look lovely, dear." And just there they go. And then now the husband spends all the time trying to protect other people from pointing this out, or, you know, and it becomes very energetically draining and turbulent. And so real love would be to say, "Well, how I feel, my dear, is that maybe this blouse is out of sync with this, or I really feel like this other top that you have brings out your eyes and is just stunning." Now that's just giving your feeling. It's not your job to tell someone what's right or wrong. But if someone you love is having a challenge and you can see it, and you are invited to give your reflection, or you are in a relationship, then you just want to work on really being clean with your reflection. That, of course, it's always your feeling. You know, we don't know. We can't tell people for sure. But to truly love someone is also to be the one that delivers some not so nice news sometimes. You know, to not let them continue hurting themselves, And sometimes real love, it's like, it's such a hard game. I have my beautiful son. He'll be turning 8 in January, a little hurricane, and there's times when you have to be firm. You have to be a tough archetype sometimes. And it's easy to just want to be nice and to be kind and to be gentle. But sometimes they need frameworks and they need boundaries. And we need to pull those in. And we need to do things that we know they're not going to like us for. But they're for their own good. It's to give them the framework. And there's this theory around boundaries for children, which actually I come to see more and more, is that if you give children utter freedom, it's quite scary. It's really scary to have no boundaries and freedom. And there are some theories in parenting that, the child actually takes that as a kind of, subtle, unconscious, don't you love me? Because if you loved me, you would give me a framework to keep me safe. You would give me a framework to help guide me so that I don't hurt myself, so that I don't get lost in this world. And so to truly show love sometimes is to set the boundaries and say no. Not just always yes, 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 yes. Let's just be happy. But to truly love someone is to be loyal, to come together, to confront each other, to hold space for our shadows to come up, and not run away, and not attack each other for them, but really receive the brunt and be a reflection for the relationship. And that to me is deep loyalty, deep devotion, and deep love. It's not always pretty. It's not always sparkly. But whenever we stay loyal and we move through these challenging times with our lovers, with our family, and with our workplaces, etc., and every time we will come out the other end, as long as we own our side of the reflection. And when you come out the other side, it is the deepest, juiciest growth that you can have. And from that space, the relationship gets deeper. You become more connected. And you can go even deeper into yourself. And more things will come up. But we can stop taking it so personal. And to me, that's something that I like to explore more and more every day of my life, is what is love? How can we express it authentically? That is really creating. Because when we love and when we go through these challenging processes with those that we love, they say, we hurt those that we love the most. And that is because the ones you love the most are the ones you are loyal to, you have created commitment to. And when you create that loyalty and that love and that heart space with somebody that you love, then it creates a very sacred vessel. There's a commitment not to run. And when you create that vessel together, you feel safe to allow yourself to be seen. You allow your shadow to come up and be seen because you feel safe that they won't kill you for it. They won't chase you for it. They won't, run away scared from it. And the more that you can trust someone, the more you love someone, the more you open up and share your darker sides, and that can hurt them. Hence, we hurt those we love the most. And when we can appreciate that, it can become a celebration. Now, the only disclaimer I'll put in here is that we're not talking about deeply abusive, hurtful relationships. Now, there is a lot of learning to be done there. But if you're in a physically abusive relationship or a place that's actually threatening to your well-being in life, then it is always of advice to go and get real support. There's lots of telephone lines to call. Get help. Have someone you can talk to that you can trust, and build that white dog relationship there, if it's a therapist or a free helpline. And that will give you a place to feel safe. And from there, move out and find yourself, your own stability, and start again. So enjoy this Wavespell of the white dog. If you really give it the commitment, the exquisiteness of the love that is created between 2 people, 3 people, between groups, between families, when that all works together, when we connect authentically and challenge each other and open each other up, we begin to open these conduits for the pure frequency of love to enter our experience. but it's only through the challenges and the loyalty to that relationship, not the person, that we can clear out the blockages that are around our heart and open it up to allow pure love to flow between us. And as it flows between us, it's like a free energy machine that then just amplifies bigger than either of us contain. The universe pours through us together and shines out into the world. I truly believe that it's through that relationship with ourselves, with the other, is how we're going to heal this world. So thank you for tuning into the Galactic Mind Weather Report. And I'll see you mid-Wavespell. In Lakesh. And all my love.